Thank you. Oh, is this not a touch screen? 1 second, please. All right, I touched it, didn't work. To continue on, so we are recording and we can use it as we see in the future as it's fit, as we see fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmaster International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use of or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for an invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. Thank you for your understanding. That would apply to everybody in the room also. Now, fellow Toastmasters and guests, let's begin Spring 2023 Table Topics and International Speech Contest for Southpark Toastmasters. Here is an explanation of the table contest procedures, which will be the first contest we will be having. All the table topic contestants, except the first speaker, must initially leave the room in this library. And for those of you who do not know, you will be escorted to where you're going to be waiting, which is near the book sale area of the library, and someone will come get you when it is your time to speak. And that will be one of our 2 speech people today. I will introduce each contestant by stating their name, the table topic question again, and their name. So it'll be name, question, question, name. After each contestant, there will be 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots, and our timer will tell us when that 1 minute is up. After each contestant is called to present, then you may stay in the room as other table topics respond, and you all have the same question. Our table top contestants are, and we have 1 contestant currently missing, I do not see him online, are Jennifer Addy Darko, Andrew Hoffman, who's currently not in the room, Allison Brogley, and Deborah Tertinger. Our chief judge, Sonia Pons, who is online, will provide an overview of the contest protocol. Over to you, Sonia Pons, chief judge.
Thank you, contest chair. Point of order, the person who is not in the room, are all contestants who are present going to participate? If they're not in the room and we call this contest to order, they cannot participate. So are all your contestants present?
No, 1 is missing. 1 table topic contestant is missing.
Andrew sent an email right before the call. He's not going to be able to attend.
Okay, so then all our contestants are now in the room. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, contest chair. The contest chair has provided you with a brief explanation of the table topics contest procedures, and I will provide further information. Contestants, your time will start with the first verbal or nonverbal communication with the audience after your introduction by the contest chair. You will have 2 minutes to present your topic. The timing lights will be activated as follows: the green light at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the red light at 2 minutes. The red light will stay on until you have finished speaking. No other notice will be given to indicate that you have gone over time. You will be disqualified if your speech is less than 1 minute or more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If for whatever reason you may lodge a protest, that is within your purview. However, this is only for contestants and judges. All protests must be made to either me, the chief judge, or to the contest chair via a private written note or Zoom chat. Once the winners are announced, all decisions are final and protests will not be considered. Contest chair. All contestants are eligible to compete. All contestants, judges, and contest officials have been trained and are fully briefed on the procedures, and I will concede the floor back to you.
Thank you, Chief Judge Sonia. And let the contest begin. Zoom team, there is no one on the Zoom team who will be on the contest. Everybody's in person, so that does not have to take place. We need 1 usher, which will either be Jamil, or Jamil. And I would like you to escort out all of our contestants um, to the secure location, except Jennifer, you are our first contestant for table topics, so you will stay in the room. So Jennifer, I would like you to come up to here where you will be speaking. And hello, nice to see you. Bump, bump, bump. Okay, can you see John? Either here and here, so you will see the color changes for the timer. And so please confirm that you can see the timer with an audible yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Point of order, Sonia, now I start, right?
Yes, you may begin.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer Darko.
Yes.
Creativity is the use of imagination to bring into existence something new. How are you creative? Creativity is the use of imagination to bring into existence something new. How are you creative? Jennifer Darko.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, Toastmasters, and guests. Creativity. I enjoy reading and watching movies. I'm creative in a way where if I hear a song that I enjoy, I use it in order to build myself. A lot of music and everything has meaning. Like I enjoy Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen's, I listen to him at night because it's a folk music and it expresses my inner creativity. And I use that in my everyday life. Different little things, even something like a marble. I used to love to play marbles when I was a younger woman, a child. And there was a big, huge jumbo blue marble that I had. And I enjoyed that marble the most, mainly because I read this book called Starry Messenger by Neil deGrasse. And you take that marble reminds me of Earth in general. And I try to see what God sees in his eyes with people. And one thing I did learn about that is that people, the Earth, if you're an astronaut, you don't see the things, what's going on inside the world. You see it from a distance. You see this big object is moving around until you get there and you see how the hatreds and the love, different things in the earth that exist. And I say to myself, is that how God sees us? Is this how he judges us? It's you find beauty in everything you see, even from a plant, an animal, people that you meet, songs, stories, movies. You always find the answer. And I learned recently that the core of the earth, that's the core in the earth, which caused it's beginning to retract itself. It's, how the earth rotates, it then begins to retract itself. So what does that mean? I wonder to myself, does it change us in any way? Does it change the climate? What happens? I live in a world of why and how. And I take everything at face value. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, you can stay. Timer, please allow 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Thank you. John, the timer. Thank you. All right. The next contestant, Allison Broglie, has entered the room. Allison Broglie. Creativity is the use of imagination to bring into existence something new. Oh, I'm supposed to tell you to stand actually there. So, creativity is the use of imagination to bring into existence something new. How are you creative? Creativity is the use of imagination to bring into existence something new. How are you creative? Allison Broglie.
Thank you very much. Creativity can be used in so many different ways. I think many times we think of it, sometimes in an artistic sense, we can look at a room and say, that person's really creative with how they put something together, or an idea someone came up with. That's really creative. However, I feel like I was very creative this morning, and it's maybe not something that you would normally think of in terms of being creative. When I think of creative, I think of working towards something, but we don't exactly know how to get there. If you think about a painting, for example, which a lot of times maybe associate with creative, we know they're trying to get a finished, let's say, portrait, but they don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but they know they just want to have something that's finished. And maybe they have a little idea, but they don't know exactly how they're going to get there or what road. And you might start doing something. And while initially you think, oh, I'm going to do this, but then something else inspires you as you're working along it. So while I found myself creative this morning, actually was looking for a job. As I have said, my role was eliminated in October, and I've had to be very creative on how I am going about finding a job. You can look online, you can network, and do many things. However, I don't think it's one way of going out and doing something. It is a combination of different ways. And I'm trying one thing, doing it for a little while, and then I'm realizing that's not it. So let me move in a different direction. Ladies and gentlemen, creativity can be looked at in many different ways. And this is the way that I feel like I have used creativity in my life, and not just even in my life, but earlier this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. You may stay in the room. Timer, please allow 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Thank you very much, timer. All right, entering the room is Debbie Tertinger. Please stand there and make sure that you feel you can see yourself. Say that to other people. Okay. Debbie Tertinger, creativity is the use of imagination. You can I'll stand there. Creativity is the use of imagination to bring into existence something new. How are you creative? Creativity is the use of imagination to bring into existence something new. How are you creative? Debbie Church.
What a wonderful question. Creativity and how am I creative and express that? That's a funny question for me because I fancy myself as being somebody creative. Whether or not I am, I don't know. But in my mind, I think, yeah, that's me. So I love creativity. And I always worked with children my whole life. And I used to teach a class on creativity. So I was always working with early educators and encouraging them to be creative. So they would come into class and they would say, I'm not creative. I can't do this. And we always hope along our lives that people encouraged us to be creativity and not one answer is the only answer, but to really think out of the box. And I believe that's one way to be successful in life is to encounter a problem and be creative in your responses and your possibilities. So I believe I am creative in art. And I think that I love to draw. I've tried all kinds of art. I've done pottery, drawing, metalsmithing, dance, you name it, I've done it. I've done a lot. I'm not good at anything, but I love it. And that was one of my goals for myself after retirement to take courses. And so that's on my list of things to do. And I will find out maybe one of those areas that I feel really strong at and good at, and that I could keep going. But until then, I'll just continue to try and enjoy it and believe in the possibilities of creativity and what a great characteristic it is for young and old. Thank you.
This concludes South Park's Table Topics Speech Contest. And congratulations to all the contestants for a job well done and for sharing interesting responses to the question. We will now take a 5-minute recess to allow the judges time to complete their ballots. All contestants, functionaries, guests, please remain silent for the next 5 minutes, and timer, please flash green several times so that we'll know the 5 minutes are up.
Fantastic. This is your chief judge. If you are a judge without identifying yourself, based on your instructions, send me your vote. You can do it via messaging or you can email me. Thank you so much. John, when we complete all contests, send me your timing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Timer John. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, it is now time for the Southpark 2023 International Speech Contest. Here's a brief explanation of International Speech Contest procedures. All contestants are permitted to remain in the room during the contest. I will introduce each contestant by stating their name, the speech title, and their name again. After each contestant, there will be a 1-minute period of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. During the moment of silence, please keep all microphones muted. After all speakers have finished, the judges will be given as much time as they need to complete their ballots and have them collected by the ballot counters. Our international speech contestants today are Jamil Massey and Valencia Timms. Now it is time to introduce our chief judge again, Sonia Pons, to go over all the contestant rules and protocols. Chief Judge Sonia Pons.
Thank you, contest chair. Fellow Toastmasters guests, our contest chair has provided you with a brief explanation of the International Speech Contest procedures, and I will further provide additional information. Contestants, your time will start with the first verbal or non-verbal communications with the audience after your introduction by the contest chair. You will have 5 to 7 minutes to present your speech. The timing lights will be activated as follows. Green light at 5 minutes, yellow light at 6 minutes, red light at 7 minutes. The red light will then stay on until you have finished speaking. No other notice will be given to indicate that you are over time. You will be disqualified if your speech is less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds. If for whatever reason, you may lodge a protest. However, protests are only for contestants and judges. All protests must be made to me, your chief judge, or to our contest chair via private written notes or Zoom chat. Once the winners are announced, all decisions are final and protests will not be considered. Contest chair, all contestants are eligible to compete. All contestants, judges, and chief contest officials have been trained and are fully briefed. And I will now concede the floor back to you.
Thank you, Chief Judge Sonia, and let the contest begin. By a drawing held earlier today, our first contest speaker will be Jamil Massey. And if you'll come to the stage, I would appreciate it. And get yourself positioned. Your head is currently cut off. Okay, thank you very much. Jamil Massey, alive in 365. Alive in 365, Jamil Massey.
People overestimate how much they can accomplish in a day, but people vastly underestimate how much they can accomplish in the course of 1 year. Over the past year, I've gone through a journey. Let me tell you a brief story of how I've got there. January 22nd, I just dropped off my middle son. He's 17 years old. He wanted to go out to a movie. Now, just to properly set the scene, we have snow and ice kinda in the North Carolina area. Kinda means it snows and 5 minutes later, it's dissolved for the most part. But this particular day, most of the ice had dissolved. And he said, "Dad, I have friends meet me at the movies. Can I go?" And I'm doing that dad thing to where it's like, it's snow out, it's ice out, I shouldn't go. But I've worked so hard to have a great relationship with my kids. So that part of me was kind of leading my decision-making. So I said, "Okay, buddy, I'll drop you off." So I drop him off. He has a great time at the movies, sends me a text message, "Dad, I'm ready to be picked up." Now, on the way to the movies, he's learning to get his driver's license. So he drove very carefully through the patches of ice. And I warned him, I said, ice ain't no joke. It's unforgiving. You can't drive on ice. So just take it easy and keep control of the car. He did fine. He did great. So I picked Buddy up, put him in the car, and we're driving back home. And we're just a couple minutes away from the house. And I live in a very wooded area out in the country, out in the sticks, some people say. And we're just a couple minutes away from home. And I'm having this dialogue with him. How was the movie, buddy? How'd it go? Did you have a good time? Yeah, Dad, it was great. It was great. And we're crawling over just a little baby hill. And at the bottom of that hill, a sheet of black ice was waiting on me. Out of nowhere, suddenly, I felt this feeling before, and I said a brief prayer, and I did that mom thing. I don't see a lot of guys doing this, but I did that mom thing where you see something about to happen, you're in a car, and your arm becomes some force of creation to hold back any harm or destruction, or at least in our minds, that's what we think is going to happen. I hit the sheet of black ice. I said, oh God. Actually, I said, oh shoot. It was, oh shoot. It was not a cuss word. I said, oh shoot. I put out my arm and I just braced for impact. The car spun around, hit a ditch, and actually hit a fire hydrant. Fortunately, we weren't harmed that bad. And he said, Dad, are you okay? I said, buddy, you're okay? He was fine, not a scratch on him. He was a little bit freaked out. Who do I call? What do I do? What do we do now? What's happening? This was his first car accident. Fortunately or unfortunately, it wasn't my first car accident. I don't know how I should view that. But my shoulder was killing me. I said, we're fine. I said, just give me a second. I had to get my bearings. I said, just give me a second. So I said, all right, let's call your mom. We called his mom. And also, fortunately, I was half a mile away from a friend who was a police officer. Called a police officer. He came, picked us up, gave us a chance to get settled in his house while we got the car towed and everything, but my shoulder was killing me. 6 days go by. My shoulder is bruised some, which I figured maybe I just banged it on the side of the car door, frame of the car, but surely it'll pass. But I notice anytime I try to lift my arm past my shoulder, my arm would be killing me. But I said, I'll just keep my arm down and it won't hurt. I'm gonna take off my jacket. Something what we do all the time, right? We put clothes on, take them off effortlessly, as I'm exerting a little bit of effort to get this off right now. But normally, it's no big deal. I'm gonna sit this right here. 6 days go by, and I said, I don't want to do this, but let me go ahead and get it checked out. So I'll go into Ortho Carolina just to confirm what I think the damage is in my mind. And the young lady, the physician's assistant, told me, oh, wow, sir, you actually have 3 breaks in your shoulder. You're going to need surgery and put a metal plate in. I said, Lord, have mercy. So over the next 365 days, I've gone on a rebuilding process. I'm going to tell you very quickly the 5 things that I did to rebuild. Number 1, I had to assess. I was ignoring the problem. I didn't want to go in and face the possible surgery, this could be worse than what I think it is. The first thing I had to do was assess. The second thing I had to do was let go of my excuses. I don't want to go in. I don't want to go to the doctor. It might cost money. I had to let go of my excuses. The third thing I had to do was imagine myself being healed. Imagine myself being back on and putting my jacket on, which I'm not going to do right now because that's going to take up way too much time. But imagine myself being back to normal, being back on the basketball court with my kids and shooting shots in them actually going in. The L that I had to do was I had to learn to ask for help. This is one thing that many times we don't like to do when we're in trouble. We're so independent. We got it covered, but sometimes you have to just learn to ask for help. And the E, I had to exercise my power and give that effort. I had to get to work. I couldn't just sit there and keep these thoughts in my mind. I had to do some rehab. I had to do the extra effort. And once I was able to assess, once I was able to let go of my excuses, once I was able to imagine myself getting better, once I was able to, I'm misspelling the word, L, I was able to let go of some other things. And then E, I was able to empower myself. I was able to get back and get healed, put jackets on, and be back out there on the court with my friends. So my challenge and my encouragement to you is to go ahead and become alive again. Do all of these steps. Maybe it's not a broken shoulder. Maybe it's something, maybe it's your confidence. Maybe it's your bank account. Maybe it's a job. Take the things that you need to do and have the courage to become alive again. Contest chair.
And now I call Valencia Timms. Yes. Oh. The timer, please give us a 1-minute break for the judges. Okay, thank you very much. Please make sure you can see what you need. Okay. Valencia. Yes, I think when you start talking, maybe it was following me, not you. That's okay. Valencia Timms, A Dream to Live For. A Dream to Live For, Valencia Timms.
Langston Hughes, in his poem, Montage to a Dream Deferred, asked the question, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I fell in love with poetry when I was in 3rd grade. This lesson changed how I communicate and how I express myself. I was taught by a beautiful African-American woman named Mrs. Edmonds. This lesson created in me the drive that I needed to become a creative writer, a singer-songwriter, and a teaching artist. I was honored to share this gift with students at the Juvenile Detention Center in St. Louis, Missouri. And years after students participated in my workshops, they come to me and say how this changed their lives, how it impacted them. And that feeling, that fulfillment, it really made me feel connected to the work I was doing. There's nothing like that. I can't get that feeling in my day job. But I was challenged to keep myself connected to that, even though I was offered a position to work in technology. what was the draw for me in technology? I could make more money. And I knew that if I followed my dream to be a creative writer or an artist, well, really the plan was to become an English professor. I would have to gain some experience to make the money that I was making in technology. And that took me away from my plan. Recently, I was speaking to a therapist because I was so stressed out. And she asked me, how did you get into this field? As I recounted the story of how my original plan was to become a professor, I got emotional. I cried. Looking back at my dream, thinking of how it's drying up like a raisin in the sun. How could I revive it? How could I bring it back to life? As I thought about it, I was like, I need to get back to this. This is something that gives me passion. This is something that I enjoy. It gives me joy. My number one love language is acts of service. I want to give to others what I received from that teacher, Mrs. Edmonds, so many years ago. So as I thought about it, I remembered something. And this is my truth. Thinking about standing in front of a room full of students and teaching them literature gave me anxiety. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Mona Lisa Smile, but she's standing in front of a room of very capable, well-educated women, teaching them art, and she chokes on the lesson as they're giving her feedback and they're on top of it. And I was thinking to myself, can I do this? Even if I prepare forward and backward, am I capable? Or will I stand in front of a room of students and feel like an imposter? Well, I joined Toastmasters, and that gave me the confidence to stand in front of a room and be my authentic self. You know, as a matter of fact, it made me think about how when I'm in a room, I have to be myself. You know why? Because I can't be anyone else. And no one else can be me. I have my unique experience and my voice, and that is valuable. All right, I can gain this confidence and I can get back to my dream. I don't have to defer it. I can have the confidence to stand in front of a room and bring all my value and teach literature. It's still in the works. And then I can probably be able to say one day that I was able to teach language arts, and someone will say about me that I gave them something fulfilled in language arts like my teacher. I'll be that beautiful African-American woman teaching the lessons that I learned. Miss Valencia Timms. That has a nice ring to it. But unless I meet a beautiful, tall, dark, and handsome man who changes my last name. I mean, that could be part of my dream too. Could be, it's possible. Well, as I stand here before you and I think about the dream that I deferred, as I remember how I fell in love with poetry so many years ago, and as I think about overcoming my fear and anxiety of being my authentic self in front of a room, I know that I can get back and no longer defer my dream, but live for it. Thank you, contest chair.
Thank you. Timers, please allow 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Thank you very much, timer. Zoom team and anybody else, please move the judges, timers, and ballot counter to the judges breakout room. And when they have left this room, please let me know.
Fantastic, because we're hybrid judges today. Without identifying yourself, judges, the way you submitted your ballot for table topics, feel free to do that as well. Your ballots were received for table topics, so if you want to do it the same way, feel free to do that. And at the end of the contest, John, please give me the timing. Thank you so much.
Okay, and
The 5-minute silence.
is this, I'm sorry, Sonia, isn't this when I asked do the contestant interviews?
Yes. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
All right, thank you. All right. To fill in the time, I feel like I should be a stand-up comedian or something, and I would like to say that's not in the script, but we are now going to have the contestant interviews, which is very casual, and I have a list of Okay, Jennifer, please come up. I have a question for you. And you have 30 seconds to a minute to respond. This is untimed. You can give it in 1 second or up to 60. And the question for you is, what is the most creative thing you have ever done in your life? Or what is the most interesting vacation you ever went on in your life? And you have 1 minute to 60 seconds. I mean, 1 second to 60 seconds.
Well, thank you. My son took me on a trip to Rome a few years ago, and it was exciting. I had a chance to see the Vatican, and I even had a chance to hear the Pope that week. So I really enjoyed it. What he did was that he rent an apartment, what they call it, B&B or whatever they call it. But anyway, I was able to, he wants to go out to dinner. So I said, it's a kitchen here, let's cook. And that's what we did. But it was so exciting, meant so much to me. And that was the most, and then I'm looking forward to another trip as soon as my knee get better. I want him to take me to England, because it's a flight from Charlotte to, straight shot from Charlotte to London. So I want to take advantage of that.
Thank you very much. So we have at least one world traveler in here. And Allison, you're next. Allison, I know you talk about looking for your next job. If you could give me 3 characteristics, let's say 1 to 3 characteristics of what it is, if money were no object, what it is that you'd want to do, and share that with us.
It's interesting as you go a little further in your career. While money is important, it's not the only thing, because I've seen many jobs that I could apply for and I probably could be considered for, but it's just, I don't believe I would feel fulfilled. So that is my one thing. I think as I'm getting near 40, I just kind of feel like I just want to really do things that are intentional and fulfilling. And so that's, I would say, really the one thing that's really important to me, is that I'm going to feel fulfilled with what I am doing. I'd say a second thing, and maybe this is along the same thing, but passionate. And how I feel that's a little bit different is, I could describe my previous job for many years, because I worked in a very global company. I would be up early to try to get some work done before my meetings started with people in Asia or Europe. And I would be excited to get up and get some work done. And near the end of that job, I was not excited to get up, and I could feel the passion drop there. And I feel the third thing is to always be learning. And I just love when I'm in a job that I'm constantly becoming a new version of myself, and I'm starting to see the world and people around me in a different way. So those are the three things that I would like in a new position.
And when you find that job, I would like that job too. Sounds wonderful. Okay, Jamil, please come join us up here. I'm going to give it to you in this arm in case your other arm is still getting rehabbed.
Oh, we good. We good.
So Jamil, I don't know all about you, but I do know that you're really into sports. Tell me about your biggest sport event or your biggest sport failure.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to stick with the event. The failure would be definitely over a minute. I'll go with one of the most recent events for sports, and it is coaching my youngest son's basketball team. So we have 5 kids. It's a lot of kids. I have 3 boys, and the oldest one is 22 years old. He plays college basketball for Wingate College. The middle son, he's athletic, but he's into computer stuff. The youngest one, which is what I'm supposed to be talking about, he's in 6th grade, plays recreation league for the YMCA. And last week we were losing 19-4. These are low scoring games in the rec league. We were losing 19-4, but we were able to rally the troops and come back and win it within the last minute and a half. We were down by 5 with a minute and a half left to go. We're able to come back and win it. And there was a chance for the team to steal the ball and score and go back up by 1. But our teammate found my youngest son wide open on the other end of the court after I told him, Jackson, slide back because everybody's up. You slide back. They passed it to him and he was able to score and seal the deal. So that was the biggest, most recent basketball sports victory. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Basketball was not my thing. Once everybody exceeded me in height. I did play it with a lot of Kool-Aid. You get really sweaty, you drink a lot of Kool-Aid, then you giggle forever because you got such a sugar high. That's my sports story. Okay, now I had to do it alphabetically. Debbie Tertinger versus Valencia Timms. So Debbie, this will be. I know that you love to travel. If money were not an object, you could go anywhere you want, you could do whatever quality of flight, cruise, whatever. What is it that you want to do?
Well, that's a great question. And it's one I've been thinking about. And I would love to, and this may sound odd. I don't want to go on a luxury trip. I want to go on trips where I actually do work and in a community where I can live there a while and work with the people and get to know the people and then stay there a bit and then move on to another place. I want to live like the people do. And I think sometimes if I was like on a Costco tour or something like that, it might not be that way. And that's my dream, to really just live with the people in a variety of places. And a lot of people don't like that idea. They want luxury, right? So you gotta find the right people to go with. But thank you.
Thank you. It just perpetuates my belief in you that you're such a kind, giving person, and that you had an opportunity to like go for broke and you went for giving. So, all right. And now, last but not least, Valencia Timms. So Valencia, I knew that you liked poetry and writing. I did not know that you were a songwriter and all of that stuff. I have just started writing. What advice would you have to people who are writing poetry? If you give them some advice on how to keep on going, how to be creative and all those things, what would you do, especially since you help to teach language or poetry?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the funny thing about this question is I've received different advice over the years. I had a professor tell me one time, if you can quit, do it, because it's a lot of heart that goes into writing. It's like creating a child almost. You're creating something that's really a part of you. and you have to be willing to release it into the world. And sometimes your critics, they throw your baby on the ground and they don't care. But you have to be willing to understand that you have someone specific that you're speaking to, and that this gift comes from something bigger than you, and being able to share it is also a gift. So I would encourage writers to always be true to themselves, true to how they speak. Don't be afraid to express all of your emotions, feelings, be vulnerable in your writing, because someone can grow from what you're sharing.
Thank you very much. I'm going to check with our judge chair. Sonia, are we ready to move forward?
We are ready.
Okay, let me find my place.
No worries.
Okay. Chief Judge, were there any disqualified based on time?
Yes, we had one time disqualification in the table topic contest.
Okay, thank you. Please share the results.
It would be my pleasure. I'm going to share my screen so you can get your goodie certificate for our second place in the table topics contest. Please give a round of applause to Debbie Tertanger. Yay. And for the first place winner of our table topics contest, Allison Bolgi. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly.
And Allison, we have a little ribbon for you also. For those of you who are online, we have a, does this come over here? Oh. It is a blue ribbon. I don't know how to do this, but it's a blue ribbon that says best table topics. We turn that to her. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Now the results of our international speech contest. Family, our second place winner is Jamil Massey. Round of applause for Jamil Massey. And our first place winner today is Valencia 10. Round of applause for Valencia. If there are certificates.
And here's your ribbon.
Fantastic. Family, our first place winners today will advance to the area table topics and international speech contest on Thursday, February 16th at 6:30 p.m. For more information, please visit our District 37 Toastmasters website. If our first place contestants are not able to compete, Southpark Toastmasters will submit the names of our second place contestants as viable alternates. Congratulations again to all of our contestants. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you, Chief Judge Sonia. Again, congratulations to all our contestants for competing today. I personally am very proud. I've never attended one of these, and I just think it was fantastic. It was great for everybody. You have such courage to come out and do this. And a big thank you, I guess now I'll read officially, a big thank you to all contest officials, volunteers, our guests, the South Park Library, for your participation and attendance today. And with that, I will declare, I could stall for a bit and keep you here, but I will declare the South Park Spring 2023 Table Topics and International Speech Contest adjourned. Thank you very much.